Hello and good morning. We have got ourselves another new portal today, and it is going to be the Super Elemental portal coming back to grace us for the second time this month for the color blue. Much like we had before, we have Guzmer featured. I covered him in my last Super Elemental portal. He is great. Like, he's a very good counter character to pretty much anyone in the current meta. He does an awesome amount of work for your team. If you get him, congrats, he's definitely worth getting. But today, we have ourselves a new Super Elemental costume for Zengar. Will this guy be worth pulling for? Let's take a quick look at what the updated stats have given us and if we should be excited for this character. His new class will be Druid, so he has a chance to make Thorn minions. It's not like particularly exciting, but that's what it does, so there's that. We also have the Super Elemental Family bonus. As a reminder for what that does is it will each turn empower a colored gem on the field that matches the Super Elemental, in this case blue or ice tiles. It does one per turn by the number of blue characters in your team. So if you have one blue character, you're upgrading one tile a turn. If you have three blue characters, you'll upgrade 3 tiles per turn. If you have 5 blue characters, you'll do 5 tiles per turn. But in reality, there is a maximum of 5 tiles that can be converted per color. So if you have multiple super elementals of different colors, you can convert more tiles, but 5 max per color. Now, these tiles at the end of the turn will zap a random enemy for 20 damage. 20 damage isn't a lot of damage, but you'd be surprised how useful it could be at taking out fighters that resurrected, or that person who just lived through your special damage, and you're like, how am I going to finish this guy off? Well, the zappy tiles do a good job at cleaning up some of those messes, if you will. All right, also in the passive, it reminds you of what it does on offense and defense, which is a little bit different. And on defense, it says the hero receives less elemental damage from troops of the same color, but on offense, it increases your damage from your troops by 150%. Now, don't underestimate that. That makes your tile hit significantly stronger on offense for that color. That's a very cool bonus. Now, we also have an Aether Power of counterattack. Not the most exciting Aether Power, but it is nice to be able to squeeze in a little extra damage in the first 6 turns if they decide to attack you. And then down here, at operating at fast speed, we have Great Frost Hoe. Hoe, like the tool he's using, okay? Just, yeah, anyway. So moving on, it's going to deal 450% damage to the target. If the target is of the fire element, deals 400% damage to nearby enemies as well. The target receives 1434 frost damage over 3 turns. If the target is of the fire element, nearby enemies receive 972 frost damage over 3 turns. Okay, so basically this guy does a pretty solid hit on a single target at fast speed. Then he will leave a pretty significant dot, 1434 frost damage. I mean, we're almost looking at 500 damage a turn, something like 470-ish, or I don't know, my math's a little bit off, it's first thing in the morning. But still, that's a significant dot tick as well. That's on its primary target. Now, assuming that you can swing at a fire enemy, which of course he'll do additional damage versus, etc., he will then punish the nearby enemies as well, if they are still there and not already been killed, etc. But, yeah, so what do we think of the guy? I think he's situationally awesome, and normally adequate, right? He's a reasonable sniper that's going to leave a dot behind to finish the job if he doesn't get it done. Operating at fast speed, I think all of that is pretty good. If you're able to punish fire enemies and take out the people to the sides as well, that's where his value really starts to shine. You're going to see a lot more damage pumping out of this guy at fast speed at that point. So I definitely recommend in offensive teams to pick your targets wisely with this guy. Like if they got a couple fire heroes, great. But I definitely would not choose to take this guy against a team that had no fire heroes. I'd want to try to squeeze in that extra value if I could. So yeah, I guess in reality, I think I give this guy just a typical 7. I think he's right at the average range. His new stats are going to make him very relevant, but I think the super elemental specials for the most part are lagging a little bit behind the newer specials that are coming out for excitement. And this guy's a perfect example of that. He's good, and situationally he can be great, but most of these new specials coming out are just great, period. They don't need the situational effect to go into play. So yeah, with that in mind, I'd say he's a solid 7. In the right situations, he gets himself up to an 8, possibly even a 9 if you can really punish, like a stacked red team or something like that. This guy's gonna have a field day on them. But yeah, there you go. So congrats if you pull him. He is still worth leveling. Don't get me wrong. He's fantastic. He'll do great. War depth stats are going to be through the roof. So congrats everyone who gets him, and we will talk to you next time.